This is a 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage ES, the base model with nothing added, and I'm going to be reviewing it. I've had it for 8 days, and I have currently 702 miles on it. You can see right there on the dash, 702 miles. First thing, is there headroom? Well, I've had somebody who is 6'3" and 250 pounds in the car, in the passenger seat, and they fit pretty good. Plenty of headroom. The only problem is this, alright? Because the car is skinny, alright? Their leg is hitting this. And if I want to change gears, for example, I have to have them move their leg over. But to be fair, that's a really large person. And for somebody shorter who doesn't have as long legs, that would be just fine. In terms of how much leg room there is, you can see there's a lot of leg room. This is all the way back. I am currently 5'11", and you can see I have a lot of leg room. This is too far back for me. Let's get out of the car so you can see how much room there is. That's quite a lot. Now, you do have to duck if you're getting in, if you're a little bit taller, but that's not much of a problem. And again, I am 5'11", and this is how much room is above my head. Hopefully you can see it. And sitting here in the driver's seat, you can see there is some things down here. This is for traction control. If you lose traction, this will hopefully keep you from spinning out, or something like that. It's whatever traction control does. This is forward collision warning. This is on every single Mirage from 2021 and newer. And this right here is another thing. It's a lane keep assist. Mine is not equipped with that, but if you get the SE model of this car, which is the fully loaded one, it will have that lane keep assist. It will not self-drive, alright? But if you go over, fall asleep, and drive out of the lane slightly, it will start aggressively honking at you. Again, if there's no lanes, like if you're driving along a road like this, it's not going to do anything. But if you're driving along and there's lines on the road, and you start flying across all the lanes, it will beep at you, but it will not correct. Then there is this. This is just change the driver and passenger mirror. You can see the driver door here. It has very basic stuff. There's the window buttons. I don't know what that button does. It has a window. Oh, maybe that's to prevent the windows from going up and down. And then there's, of course, the lock and unlock button. Over on the steering wheel here, we got stuff for calling. Alright, like you don't have to touch your phone. You can hook it up to the car and make calls here. This is cruise control. It is not adaptive cruise control. That is not an option on this car. But it is cruise control and it works just fine. You can set it by pushing down, and then if you want to go and adjust your speed, you can push down some more once it's already turned on, or push it up to gain 1 mile an hour at a time. And this right here is nothing on any of the cars. It's just an empty thing on every single Mirage. Who knows what it's for? I don't. And this is the center console. Mine is equipped with a CVT transmission. The models from 2022 and older have an option for manual, but I like the CVT better. You can also see I have a humongous cup right here, alright? Like, compare it to the dash. It is huge, and it fits in the cup holder very good. Every cup holder in the car fits this cup. At least, well, actually, I haven't tested it in the door. Let's find out if it fits in the door cup holder. The door has one cup holder on each door, at least the front doors. The back ones don't have cup holders. Okay, so my cup's too big for that, but it fits in here just fine. Looking in the back mirror, this is what you see. There is quite a bit of visibility. There's, well, if you look behind you, that's what you see. So there's quite a bit of visibility. And the glove box is decently sized. Let's just put the key in the ignition real quickly. I have a regular key. This is not push button start. Alright, so if we go and look over here, let's turn the fan off, turn the radio off. You'll see we have a tachometer here, we have a speedometer, and then all of your warning lights to the right. And if you press this button, it will show you, for example, my average miles per gallon is currently 41.9. I've been going up and down a whole bunch of hills. I've been averaging about 50 miles per gallon though. It's currently 97 degrees Fahrenheit outside. 6,800 miles, I got no idea what that's for. I don't know what that is. And then I have 702 miles on the car. If I click the button again, I don't know what that is. Oh, that's trip A, and that's trip B. I don't know what that is. And I don't know what that is. But that's my average mileage, and I just leave it on there. But yeah, you can get, if you're going 55 to 60 miles an hour on the freeway, you're going to be getting about 55 miles per gallon. Again, unless you're going uphill, which is all I've been doing today. Uphill and in the city. All right, going over to the center console here, you'll see there is currently a radio playing, but if you press that button, you got Bluetooth audio, you got a phone set up here, you have FM radio and AM radio, you have a mode for nighttime and daytime. I went too fast. And daytime. If you plug your phone into it, you have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay on all of the Mirages. And it works like, well, I don't have any other car with it, but it works like I would expect. You can have GPS on here and everything. And you have a climate control vent there, and there, and there. So you have quite a lot of climate control vents. And these ones here on the sides, they actually spin, as you can see. They spin, and you can close them completely or open them. It works really well. And the air conditioner in this car works really good. Down here you have the air conditioner controls. It is very simple. This is your temperature, this is your fan speed, this is if you want it to recirculate, and this is the defrosters. And if you want, you can set it to auto as well. I also need to add, the Mirage also has air vents under the driver and passenger seat, meaning if you have, let's say, short pants on, and you have the AC turned on to floor, it will be blowing air in the back seat through those vents. Another thing to note, this car only has one light inside of the driver compartment, so it's this one right here. You can have off, you have always on, all the way to the left, and if you have it in the middle here, it is only on when you have the door open. Also in the trunk, you do have another light. It doesn't do much, but there is another light back here. And this is the rear seat. It's a little bit dirty, but that's fine. So I have the passenger seat all the way back, all right? And keep in mind, I am 5'11". And this would be for somebody who's 6'3" or something. I'm gonna close the door, and you can see how much room there is. There is very little room for me. If I try to adjust myself, I guess I can get my knees in here, but yeah, it's not recommended to sit in the back seat if you're that tall. Behind somebody that tall. But if I go behind myself, I am, well, 5'11". I fit perfectly fine. Plenty of room. In terms of headroom, you can see I have a little bit of room. Not a lot, but enough. Like, I can bounce a little bit. Not that it's recommended to be bouncing in a car down the road, but you can. And overall, you can see there is nothing here in terms of any sort of lights. Another thing to notice, there are no map pockets in this car. That's not an option on any of the Mirages as far as I'm aware. And it also doesn't have a center console. That's an option. You can get a center console in some Mirages. And if you have the fully loaded one, you will not get a center console, but you will get an armrest that comes out of the seat. And I also need to add, the fully loaded one has a partly leather-wrapped steering wheel, and the seats are partly leather, so it is nicer. Alright, and do you remember when I said this car doesn't have a center console? So there is this, but this isn't coming with the car. I got this from Dollar Tree. It was $1.25. And it's a cup holder, and it has some extra storage on it. But when it comes to a decent armrest, I have a smiley yellow pillow here. It's round. I just shove it down here, and well, it works good. There are some on eBay, like $30 you can get an armrest, and it's a center console too, but the thing is, those are rather short to the ground. Also up front here, you might see this right here, alright? This is, well, okay, there's a big hole here, okay? You can put your phone there when it's plugged into the USB cable for Android Auto, but do you see that square right there? That is where the heated seats would go on the fully loaded one. I am not sure if you have the heated seats built into the seats already and you just need to add the switch or not. That might be the case. That's the case when it comes to adding fog lights on this car. If you have a base model like mine, it will not come with fog lights. But if you have a more luxurious model, it will come with fog lights. But if you want to add fog lights on this, all you have to do is cut this piece of plastic out here. All right, the wiring's already all set up here. And all you have to do is put the fog lights in. And if I'm not mistaken, you have to have the window closed, have the ignition on, and close and open the door something like 5 times. And by doing that, it will recognize the fog lights. But it doesn't get foggy here, so I'm not going to even bother installing them. There's no reason to. And coming around to the trunk here, you can see I have quite a bit of stuff in here. I got a Wix oil filter and Kirkland oil. I'm going to be changing the oil today. But you're here to see how much room there is. So you have this tonneau cover here. You can easily remove it. There's just a little like piece of string there, and you just lift up on it like that and like that, and it comes out. You can pull on this little tab here and the seat comes down. All right. Oh, there's a bug. Hello, bug. All right, and you have to move the front seat forward to close that one, or just take the headrest off, which is what I do, so I don't have to move the seat around. When you have the seats completely folded down, it is like a minivan. You can actually put a lot in it. And after I'm done with this part of the review, I'll show you some things I've loaded in this car. But as you can see, there is a pretty big amount of room in terms of how much stuff you can put in here. I put furniture in here and everything, and it did a very good job. Right now I am moving an air conditioner. It's 5,000 BTU, just to show you how it fits in the car. It fits perfectly fine in the trunk. And if you're wondering how big the back seat of this car is, well, this is how big. I've gotten a big exercise mat in here, piece of furniture, a big mirror. Let's open up the trunk. You can see literally everything in here. It's quite full. So yes, the Mirage can hold a significant amount of stuff. You can put stuff down there too. Overall, that is a lot inside the car. And you could also put heavier stuff in there, of course, too, but that's all I'm taking today, which is not bad at all, especially for something this size. It's a minivan. You can also see the carpet, all right? The carpet comes out if you want to clean it. It's just loosely set in here, all right? So it just comes out. And I probably will be doing that soon. It's getting a bit dirty. And under here, you can see there's this. It's a piece of wood. If you lift that up, you got the spare tire. I have some stuff in here for when I haul stuff, all right? So it's just rags, but you got a spare tire down here and pretty much everything you need. But yeah, this carpet just kind of loosely sits in here, but it does its job. Another thing to note, under the driver's seat, you do have the car's jack. To pop the hood, there is a little latch right here, and there's a lever right in the middle of the hood to lift it up. And in here you can see the engine and the battery. Everything is really easy to get to. The hardest thing in this car to get to is, if I'm not mistaken, the catalytic converter. But everything is relatively easy. For example, the alternator. The spark plug's about a 10-minute job. You have to take this off, but it's just relatively easy. Everything on here is. This engine is 3 cylinders and it makes 78 horsepower and 74 torque. You might think that's tiny, and yes, it is a rather small engine. It's not a race car, but you can go down the freeway at 60, 70, even 80 miles an hour and it'll be fine. 80 is pushing it though. But you can have a top speed of 100 miles an hour in this car, but I don't really see a reason to go that fast. And driving it down the freeway at 60 miles an hour, it does a really nice job. You do feel some bumps, and you also do have these tires. They are the stock tires. They are rather loud, all right? If you want a quieter ride, get yourself Bridgestone tires. They are good. And it goes over and makes this car a lot quieter. I don't have the Bridgestone tires yet, as I just got the car. I'm going to wait till these wear out. So I'm not going to bother upgrading it yet. But that's how you make it quieter if you want. Also, if you ever wondered how to repair the fuel pump, you have to lift the seat up. There's clips under it to lift it up. And the fuel pump is right down there. I'm not sure how to lift it up there. I've not done it before. Okay, all you have to do is simply just lift up on each corner, and right there, that's the fuel pump. So it's just really easy to work on. And also, this is what the backup camera looks like. It's not the clearest thing in the world, but it works as a backup camera. And if I turn the steering wheel, it does not have the lines change. Some more expensive cars have that, but I mean, for this price, I'm not going to complain. But that's just something to note. The next video you will see is me going up to Big Bear, California. It is a 7,000 foot above sea level mountain, and overall going up the whole hill, it was perfectly fine. It was around 3,000 to 4,000 RPM. Anything over around 4,000 it starts to get noisy, but 3,000 you can't really hear the engine. But at the higher elevations, you can definitely tell there is less power. At 7,000 feet in elevation, it makes 62 horsepower. And we are floored. Yeah, I can definitely tell we're at a higher elevation. Right here, I was driving from Palm Springs to Riverside, California, and I was going around 60 miles an hour, and the car was handling really good. I was going up and down a whole bunch of hills, more up than down, and I also had a pretty strong, not crosswind, but wind blowing straight at me, making it extra hard. And the car was doing good going up and down the hills. It was around 2,000 to 3,000 RPM, sometimes a little bit above, maybe 3,500 at times. But overall, you can't really hear the engine. The only thing you can really hear is just the loud tires. So this entire trip came out to about 180 miles, and overall I averaged 49 miles per gallon according to the car's computer. And some other trips I've done recently, I've averaged 50 miles per gallon, so overall it's been sipping gas. I also need to add, as you can see on the dash on the car, it does say 42. The reason why is, again, I was going up and down hills, so it dropped the mileage on average, but once I got back to a flatter area, that jumped to 49. And in the city, I find accelerating at around 2,000 RPM to be perfectly fine. Though, if you want to be completely keeping up with traffic, probably 2,500 to 3,000 RPM accelerations are going to be normal for you. But overall, though, I find the engine on this car to be perfectly fine. A lot of people say it's not even enough to go around town, but no, that's not the case. It has plenty of power, as long as you don't mind getting into the gas pedal a little bit. Also, turning on the air conditioner does affect the fuel economy and acceleration, but it does in all cars. In this, the 0 to 60 is about 2 seconds longer if you have the AC on. And because I live in a hot desert, today was around 38 Celsius or about 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and well, that's the same pretty much every day, and I just leave the air conditioner on constantly. I also need to add, if you are a normal person who doesn't want to sit in the slow lane and go a bit under the speed limit, then your gas mileage will of course be lower than mine. Mine's about 50 on average, and if you accelerate like normal, expect to get EPA, which is 37 city and 42 freeway. I also need to add, I recommend checking out the Kia Rio as well. It's slightly more powerful and it has a little bit nicer looking interior, but they're similar cars. Either way, thank you for watching this video. Hopefully it helped you. If you can, leave a like or something, thank you, and have a great day.